Oh, let's face it, we're all getting older. It's been nearly 30 years since Goku's famous fight with Frieza. Unfortunately, while we've all gotten older, Goku has stayed the same age. That won't last forever though. The future, Goku. It came for Wolverine and it's gonna get you next. Okay, before we get into all that, let's explore what's going on with this whole Saiyan aging thing. The Dragon Ball franchise has followed Goku's life across several generations. We've seen him as a small child coming into adolescence, we've seen him become a father, we've even seen him become a grandfather. Despite all of that, he seemingly hasn't aged since he showed up on Namek in DBZ. Meanwhile, characters like Bulma, Chi-Chi, and Krillin have aged considerably. This has stressed Bulma out to the point where she wanted to use a wish to the Eternal Dragon to just make her appear younger. Though, Bulma, you run Capsule Corps. I'm pretty sure you can afford plastic surgery. So what exactly is it about Goku that makes him age like Keanu Reeves? Well, judging from other Saiyans like Vegeta, it appears that this is a genetic trait. It seems as though Saiyans just naturally age easier than humans do. Basically, we're like dogs to them. We're cute for a while, but eventually they're gonna replace us. Goku already had to do that with Yamcha, pretty much. As everyone here knows, we have a specialized team of CBR scientists who work around the clock, solving all of the greatest anime scientific mysteries of our time. These were the scientists who classified every type of devil fruit from One Piece. So we put them on the case to figure out exactly what is going on with Saiyan biology. They have concluded that Saiyan DNA oxidation occurs at a heavily reduced rate due to their ability to transform into things like Super Saiyans that basically heal any damage that's been done. The theory is that anytime Goku or Vegeta go Super Saiyan, or especially when they go Super Saiyan God, any aging that they may have had is reversed. That's why Goku and Vegeta both look about the same age as they did when they first went Super Saiyan. They aged up until that point and have seemingly stopped. This doesn't quite cover how Goten, Trunks, and Gohan have continued aging, but perhaps the process only begins at adulthood. Our team tried to publish their results in the New England Journal of Medicine, but all they sent back were more cease and desist letters. The world may never know the truth. So, share this video? Anyway, the other factor that may contribute to their decreased aging may not have anything to do with their Saiyan ancestry at all. You see, there are several human characters who are like crazy stupid old in the Dragon Ball series. Master Roshi, for instance, is over 300 years old. Unlike Goku and Vegeta, he has clearly aged, but honestly he looks pretty great for 300. Seeing as other humans, like Mr. Satan, seem to age at a normal rate of progression, it seems like something's up. The theory here is that because the Z-Fighters can manipulate and store vast amounts of energy or ki, they may be fighting off their body's natural decay. Think of it like a sort of spiritual cardio. If you never work out, there's a good chance that you may pass away sooner than someone who hits the gym regularly. Well, the Z-Fighters work out their ki in ways that most humans would consider impossible. If you look at how Yamcha has aged compared to Bulma, it seems to confirm this. She's worried about middle age, while Yamcha's a professional baseball player. If the ki theory is true, then why do Goku and Vegeta age so much slower than other heroes like Krillin? Well, Goku and Vegeta use Super Saiyan transformations and God Ki. So think of it like Krillin does a little cardio in the morning, while Goku and Vegeta both do spiritual CrossFit every day. Needless to say, the CBR offices have been in heated debate over these theories for weeks. Personally, I think the answer lies in a combination of the two. I think that Goku's Saiyan biology mixed with his intense ki training has kept him looking 25 for a very long time. While that may go on for a while, there's reason to believe that it won't go on forever. The biggest piece of evidence to support the idea that Goku isn't functionally immortal is tied to what we know about the Saiyan race as a whole. Saiyan history is still a bit vague in a lot of places. A culture that's built its entire society around constant warfare and nothing else is likely to have problems keeping track of history. We do know that there used to be a time long ago when things like Super Saiyans and Super Saiyan Gods were not as uncommon. These events occurred so long ago that both became myths, but we do know that Goku and Vegeta were not the first. That brings the question, if Super Saiyans or just Super Saiyans in general are basically immortal, then why haven't we met any from this era? Now, the easy answer could just be that Saiyan culture wiped them out. It's possible that there was some sort of Super Saiyan war in which all of them wiped each other out. But we do know that a Super Saiyan God was formed to oppose savage Saiyans but failed due to the form's time limit. This could fit that story. The more likely answer is that there's a point where even Saiyans begin to degrade. It's entirely possible that the Super Saiyans of old ruled for decades until their bodies began to wither and the younger Saiyans decimated them. One observation about planet Vegeta would seem to support this. Have you ever noticed that there are practically no Saiyan elders? Now this would normally be the time where we'd consult our resident CBR anthropologist for his take on Saiyan history and culture. Unfortunately, he went off to an expedition searching for the One Piece treasure and, like Luffy, has found exactly nothing for like 20 years. And we really shouldn't keep him on payroll, to be honest. So I'm afraid that we'll just have to speculate from this point forward. To date, we have only seen a few Saiyans that seem to be middle-aged or older. King Vegeta, for instance, seems at least middle-aged. Nappa seems like he's maybe like 40 in human years. The oldest canonical Saiyan that we've interacted with has been Broly's father, Paragus. When we meet him, he seems on the older half of middle age before years alone with Broly age him considerably. We also see a few bearded old-timers in the background during the Saiyan scenes of DBS Broly. The rate of Paragus's age would seem to indicate that Saiyans naturally age like humans do. If you compare how he looks at the beginning of the film versus the end, it's clear that he's not exactly growing like Goku is. This would seem to confirm the idea that it's Goku's Super Saiyan abilities that have kept him so fresh and young after all these years. Either that, or raising a crazy berserker son on a hostile planet for a few decades ages you like it's been 80 years. Still, even by old man standards, Paragus seems to be in pretty incredible shape. We don't see any Saiyans throughout the series who seem to be sick or infirm in any way. This could lead us to some disturbing conclusions. My theory here is that Saiyans don't allow their citizens to reach an age where they're no longer able to do battle. Even the few elder Saiyans we see are jacked up more than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I think once Saiyans reach a certain age, they ritualistically obliterate them like an anime version of the creepy cult people from Midsommar. Ultimately, it's clear that Goku's life took a considerable turn for the better when he was sent to Earth. If he would have stayed on planet Vegeta, it's likely that his life and his health wouldn't have turned out quite so well as they did in our timeline. Though, that is not without its own tragedies, though. You see, Goku probably hasn't realized this yet, but if everyone around him ages and he doesn't, that means Goku will likely see most of his friends and family lose their lives. While that possibility has almost certainly never occurred to the notoriously dense Goku, it has almost definitely occurred to some of his cunning adversaries. Now we've covered how and why a Saiyan like Goku may age slowly, but that is nothing compared to one of his arch-enemies, Frieza. While Frieza in many ways seems like a child with far too much power on his hands, he's actually over 70 years old. While we don't see many of his species, it's entirely possible that they could live for thousands of years. King Cold, Frieza's father, was around 800. So, while Frieza may have resigned himself to the idea that he will never be able to destroy Goku or Vegeta at their peak power levels, he might not have to use that strategy. For a cunning mastermind like him, surely the thought has peeked its way into his head that all he might have to do is wait. That's why I think the final Dragon Ball arc could feature Frieza's final victory. As he watches planet Earth from a distance, he could wait until Vegeta and Goku begin to deteriorate. This may take well over a century, but Frieza has plenty of time to spare. Once Goku and Vegeta are no longer able to access the full extent of their powers, that's when they'll strike. As we've seen in Dragon Ball Super, while Goten, Trunks, and Gohan were able to keep up with the main Saiyan duo in DBZ, once the two hit God form, they left everyone behind. If Goku and Vegeta are no longer able to reach that power level, there would be no one to stop a Golden Frieza from conquering Earth in basically an afternoon. In a display that would show the true depths of Frieza's twisted depravity, Goku would be forced to watch helplessly as all of the remaining warriors, including Vegeta, fall to the Galactic Warlord. Then Frieza would refuse to take out Goku and reunite him with his family in the afterlife. Instead, he would keep Goku alive so that he could watch as Frieza conquers Earth and makes it a planet in the Frieza Force. This could lead to Goku's big Logan moment, his last ride, where the aged and tired warrior has to turn to the last strategy he has to save the world one more time. to collect the Dragon Balls. Imagine a sort of dark take on the original Dragon Ball, where Goku still has to take on armies, generals, and maybe even a fighting competition in the twisted Frieza-forced Earth as he collects the Dragon Balls one final time. It could be a great way to see Goku explore all of the old places he first visited so many years ago now that the world has moved on. Perhaps Kami's lookout has been transformed into a Frieza Force base. Capsule Corp could be in charge of arming Frieza's soldiers. Goku could even live in a rundown Kami house where he may even take on students like Master Roshi, training them in the old turtle school ways to take on the Frieza Force. This could all culminate with him summoning the eternal dragon Shenron and wishing for his powers to return for one more world-saving fight with Frieza. Imagine a final bout with Frieza where Goku initially overpowers him like he did in Resurrection F, only for his powers to slowly fade as the fight goes on. He would have to summon all of his strength for just one last Kamehameha wave to finally wipe Frieza from the face of the galaxy. Of course, this blast would be his last, as Goku would finally fall, having saved the Earth yet again. Then he'd look out at his new students and friends and tell them to continue on as he faded off into the afterlife, where all his friends were waiting. Look, I'm just saying, Akira Toriyama, you can have that idea for free. Doesn't even have to be canon, I just want to see it. So what do you guys think? Do you think that Goku will ever actually grow old, or will he outlive us all like Keanu Reeves most certainly will? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to CBR.